As promised, we're going to talk to one of the legends of rock and roll, one of the legends from the Plasmatics, the one and only Wes Beech, joining us on the phone from Michigan. Hey, brother Wes, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How's everybody doing today?
All right, man, all right.
Everyone's excited to have you on the show. I saw that Jade posted in the Plasmatics group, and quite a few people have mentioned it online, so we got some support, man.
That's great. Keep Wendy going.
Yeah. Speaking of Wendy, you've been on this show, what, probably 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least. There's a couple things that we talked about that we've never talked about on the radio, and I made some notes, which I left at home. But I was able to recover most of those memories from some notes. And I wanted to ask you, Wes, when we get into talking here, about the show you guys did without Wendy one time.
Well, that was pretty interesting. That was on the Maggots tour, and we were out in California, and Wendy came down with pneumonia, so she couldn't sing. But we decided that we were going to play anyway. Actually, it wasn't California. It was at the Mason Jar in Phoenix, actually. And there was a little punk rock club. So they decided to just do the show for free, let everybody in, and we'd just do it instrumentally.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. We got up there, we played all the songs, just like it was a regular show, except Wendy wasn't there.
Wow, so no vocals, just all the tunes instrumentally.
Right, exactly.
Now,
and it was a free show.
How did the fans take that? Did they know that Wendy was sick?
Yes, yeah, they made an announcement there, and that's why they made it a free show, and it was kind of funny. So we referred to it as the WOW show without Wendy.
Wow. So what did Wendy do while you guys were performing? I'm guessing she was resting somewhere.
Yeah, she was taking it easy. She went to the hospital, and she got better. She recovered pretty quick. She was a real trooper, and I know it's tough. I've had pneumonia on the road. It's not a lot of fun, but, the show must go on, as they say.
Wow, yeah, I had never heard that story. That's crazy. I've heard so many stories, but never that one.
It was pretty funny, too. I remember when we were there for the sound check, one of the local guys came running across the stage. He called out to his friends. He goes, "These guys are a bunch of old men." I thought that was pretty funny.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, probably 28 or 29.
Yeah, such an old man.
Right, exactly.
That's crazy, man. Very crazy.
But it was a fun show. We had a good time. I think the people who were there liked it. It was certainly unique.
I wonder if there's a recording out there of that somewhere, man.
I don't think so. I've certainly never come across it.
What a trip,
man. If anybody knows about it, I'd love to hear it.
Is that the only time that ever happened?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wild. Have you ever had to do a show without one of the guitar players, like either you or Richie Stotts, not being there?
No, we never did. Richie did a show once. We had played up in Boston, and me and Richie stayed behind to drive the equipment back. And as we were loading out, Richie had one of the bass player's SVT heads, and he dropped it on his ankle. He broke his ankle.
Oh.
So at the next show, it was at the Capitol Theater in New Jersey. He played the show in a wheelchair.
Huh.
And his leg was in a cast. When we drove back from Boston, I dropped him off at the hospital.
Wow, I wonder how many people thought that was part of the stage show.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of them did.
That's funny, man. So how you doing, man, in Michigan? Are you guys hanging in there, man, in Michigan? I don't know if you guys are getting a lot of this heat like we're getting in Oregon or not.
Oh yeah, it's been crazy hot. Actually, today is like kind of the first cool down we've had in quite a while. It's actually, I could turn off the air conditioner and open up the windows. But yeah, it's been hot as can be. Yeah,
I've kind of figured so. It's like the whole country's like an oven right now.
Pretty much, but it's August. You pretty much expect it, so it's not too bad.
True. You were telling me another story when we were talking recently, and I made a note to talk to you about it, but you were doing I think it was the first Plasmatics gig, if I'm not mistaken, and you had the drummer for Twisted Sister, Tony Petrie, playing with you guys.
Well, that was a show we did in Providence, Rhode Island, at the Providence Civic Center. And we had been rehearsing. Tony came from Twisted Sister, and I had heard that he was available, and we needed a drummer at the time, as we had just had Joey Reese didn't work out with us, so we were in the market for a new drummer, and I had heard that Tony had left Twisted Sister. So I hadn't actually, my wife at the time was friends with Dee Snyder and his family, so she had his phone number. I called up Dee, but, he was Mr. Rockstar, so he wasn't there, and he gave the number to his sound guy, and the sound guy called me up, and I talked to him about it. He said, sure, here's Tony's number. And, I got in touch with him. He came down and auditioned, and our first show was going to be in Providence, Rhode Island. And our bass player, Jean Beauvoir, was going to give him all the cues to start and stop the songs. Well, it turns out that John had a fight with his girlfriend, so he had kind of had a little attitude that night, and he was just stone-faced, played facing the front of the stage, didn't give poor Tony a cue all night. So it was kind of a sloppy set, but somehow he got through it.
Wow. Was was Tony okay with that after the show?
He wasn't too happy about it, but, such is rock and roll sometimes, and he soldiered on through it, and we tried to cue him as best we could.
So did Tony work with you guys any other times besides that show?
Oh yeah, he did that tour with us.
Oh, okay, very cool. What year was that?
That was probably around 81.
Nice.
I would say. Yeah, he lasted a tour. He didn't really work out. He came from Twisted Sister, and Twisted Sister was like a really big band in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. But when he got to the Midwest, nobody knew who Tony Petrie was. And this was the tour, of course, for Beyond the Valley of 1984 that Neil Smith from Alice Cooper's band played.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would come up to Tony and say, hey, you Neil Smith? And Tony didn't like that, and nobody knew who he was out in Montana in the Midwest. And he wasn't used to that kind of treatment, so he really didn't work out either.
Wow.
So when we got back off tour, he had a big fight. He missed a sound check at one of our shows, which was unheard of. It never happened before. So when we got back to New York, I told him, well, we're going to take 2 weeks off, and then you come to rehearsal this day, 6:30 in 2 weeks. We'll see you there. So we all showed up for rehearsal. We're sitting around. There's no Tony. We're sitting in Rod's office like, well, where's Tony? And then there's a phone call. Of course, it's Tony. He's like, hey, what's happening, guys? And it's like, well, we're here for rehearsal. Where are you? And he was like, well, I didn't know. And that was it. They canned him on the spot.
What a trip. Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah. He actually recorded, we recorded a whole live show with him. Just never put it out, but a couple tracks, actually, live tracks, I think were on the Metal Priestess EP with Tony.
Oh, really?
That was the only extent of his recorded work with us.
Do you guys, does Plasmatics.com have anything new, any new goodies out there that people should know about?
Not at the moment.
But that
just the whole back catalogs and T-shirts and posters and some vinyl.
So yeah, Plasmatics.com is where to get all the good Plasmatic stuff at.
Sure, and if any listeners want to order anything from the website, just put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to autograph anything for you.
There you go, Plasmatics fans. You can order from Plasmatics.com if you are interested in that kind of thing. And Wes will be glad to sign it. That's really cool. Very cool of you. I wanted to ask you about an interview you guys did at a I think it was a radio station or something called Upstairs at Xenon.
Well, actually, Xenon was a nightclub in New York, very similar to Studio 54. So real big happening disco. And we went up and did a interview there. It was me, Wendy, and Rod. And we were interviewed there, and after the interview, as we're coming out of there, Brooke Shields was actually being interviewed after us. And I met Brooke Shields and her mother walking through the hall. This was when she was like 17. She just had her DoorDash ads come out. She was kind of on the up and up, the big model in New York at the time. And she was very friendly, very young. And she comes up, she goes, "Oh, I'm Brooke Shields," and introduced herself to us. Met her mother, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Is there a photo out there with you guys with Brooke? I could have sworn maybe I saw that in the past, maybe not.
No, unfortunately, that would have been cool.
That would have been.
This was in the pre-cell phone era, so there weren't too many cameras around.
Yeah, that's wild. So Brooke was a nice teenage girl / supermodel at the time, huh?
Right, yeah.
What a trip, man. I made another couple notes, Wes. I got one for you here. Actually, I'm going to take a question from a listener, Big Al in Long Island, New York, since you're a New York guy too, Wes.
Yeah,
wants to...
I'm a Long Islander.
Oh, you are from Long Island too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's perfect then. Big Al, this is your question. He wants to know if you have any memories of making the video, of course, with Mistress of Taboo, I believe, with the the Damned video with the school bus. Do you have any memories of that?
Oh, yeah, of course. That was really wild. That was out in the Arizona desert, and they had a helicopter. They rented a helicopter to film some of the scenes from there. And I remember before they did the shoot, we went up in the helicopter. We had to sign all these releases because at the time the movie The Twilight Zone came out, and they had a helicopter accident in that killed their lead actor Vic Morrow and a couple of kids who were on the film.
That's right.
So we had to sign a release, and before they did the video shoot, they took me and Richie up in the helicopter and we flew around over the desert, saw where they were going to shoot it. And I just remember we filmed our parts in the back of a pickup truck, flatbed pickup truck. We're trying to play the song, and the truck's driving across the desert. And it's not as easy as it looks. The thing is just bouncing all over the place, and you're just trying to keep your balance, keep from falling over. So that was pretty tough. And then I remember when Wendy was filming her scenes on the school bus, and me and Richie are standing there watching her. Here she is on top of a school bus speeding down the desert. And we're thinking, well, if anything happens to Wendy, there goes our career. But she was tough. There was no stunt doubles. So she did all her stunts. And it was, flying by the seat of your pants. And she's on top of the school bus racing down the desert, jumps off at the right time, hits her mark on some mattresses as the bus goes flying into a wall of TVs and explodes in a ball of flame.
Wild. So she was okay, and yet she was such a badass and so adventurous.
Yeah. She wasn't afraid to do anything.
An adrenaline junkie, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. How many years has it been now since Wendy left us?
It was 98.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. How's Rod Swenson doing these days?
Oh, he's doing good. He's doing good. He's, hanging in there, enjoying life.
Yeah, is he still in Connecticut?
No. He moved out of Connecticut many years ago. After Wendy's death, he moved away. He's lives in Arizona for the winters, and then upstate New York for the summer.
Oh, that's cool. Another question for you. This one is a little bit offbeat. It concerns Al Lewis, a.k.a. Grandpa Munster from the Munsters TV show. You told me that you ran into him one time, but it wasn't exactly a pleasant experience.
No, he used to have this restaurant that he owned in Lower Manhattan called Grandpa's. And I was in New York for vacation one summer and walking down the street, and he's sitting in a chair right outside his restaurant. I'm like, hey, look, there's Al Lewis. So we go over there, introduce myself to him, and I say, hey, Al, can I get a picture with you? And he looks at me, and he's kind of grumpy. He goes, no, I don't know you. And I said, what do you mean you don't know me? I just introduced myself to you. He says, I don't know you. So he was a little standoffish, and I was a little disappointed by that. And I actually had eaten at his restaurant before. It was good. It was Italian food. little place on the corner.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, like I said, I was a little disappointed by that, but at least I got to meet him.
So, when you were growing up, did you watch much of the Munsters or the Addams Family TV shows?
Oh, religiously, yeah.
Which one was your favorite, man, the Munsters or the Addams Family?
It's kind of a toss-up. I probably leaned a little more towards the Addams Family.
Nice.
But I did like the Munsters. But I thought the Addams Family was a little darker.
Yeah, it was pretty twisted. I loved it. Speaking of twisted, you were telling me, too, not many details that do I know, but you had a situation happen where you guys had your sound man that was held at gunpoint one time, held hostage at gunpoint. What's the story behind that?
Well, we had done a show in Detroit, and I remember we went down to the restaurant for breakfast, and our next gig was in Kansas City, not Kansas City, it was in Wichita, Kansas. And usually the truck would leave the night before and get there, so they could set up and get ready for us. And I remember sitting there eating breakfast and look out the window, and there was our equipment truck sitting there. So I was wondering, what the hell's going on here? And then I saw our sound man, and I was informed that the truck had broken down and wasn't going to make the show. So the promoter in Wichita was going to provide the back line for us. So we kind of took our time. We got there, drove out there. It was, I don't know, probably a 6 or 7 hour drive. And we get there, show up to the venue, get in there, and the equipment was really substandard, not at all what we wanted. So the decision was made that, we were going to bail on the show. So Rod told us, we're going to meet out in the van, and we'll go back to the hotel, and then we'll go to the next stop. So you all get in the van, go back to the hotel, and we get there. Everybody gets out, and Rod's like, where's Kerry? Or was our sound guy? And we look around. He's like, oh, he's not with you? He goes, no. Is he with you? No, he's not with us. So apparently Kerry got left behind. And the promoter held him at gunpoint and kind of was threatening him and telling him to call Rod and tell him that we had to do the show because the promoter was going to take a bath if we didn't play the show because he had sold a lot of tickets, didn't want to refund the ticket prices. So Rod called the police, and the police came, and we went back to the venue and met him. And, of course, they were friends with the promoter, so they just kind of laughed it off. And he said, no, it wasn't a gun. He was just joking around. So the bottom line is we did end up playing the show.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did. We were troopers, so we used the equipment they gave us. And it was actually turned out to be a fun show, but it was definitely harrowing for our sound guy.
God, I bet, man.
Because he was definitely held at gunpoint. And he said, the promoter was sweating, really nervous. And when the police came, they were friends with the promoter, so they just kind of laughed it off and didn't really do anything about it. So.
Well, that's cool. You guys ended up playing that one at least.
Yeah, but that was kind of scary.
For those of you listening, Wes and I collaborated with T.C. Tolliver, drummer of the Plasmatics, for a video we did called Wax Fruit, which you can find on YouTube. And we've also collaborated on a tune called Rock and Roll Scallywag, which is on YouTube. And we're kind of doing something now. It's like a Plasmatics tribute we're kind of slowly working on. Wes sent me a couple of original songs, which I've got lyrics almost completed for one of the songs. So what's going on with that, Wes? Are you still working on that? I know time is like gold.
Yeah, I unfortunately got put a little back on the back burner as I've just been so busy at work and at home trying to take care of the house and the yard. But planning on getting back to it. I'm trying to line up some special guests to play on it, on
nice.
The Plasmatics track, and hopefully I can get that together and we can get that out.
Nice. Another question real quick before I let you go, too. And I just lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens.
It happens more and more often, doesn't it?
Yeah, Tracy's laughing at me. My memory sucks.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, we should both go in and get cognitive testing. They might not let us out.
No.
Right.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to ask. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. There's supposed to be a documentary coming out about the Plasmatics on the Hulu channel, I think in September.
Yeah, supposedly it's coming out in September. I haven't heard anything else on it since we did the filming back in May, but it's supposed to be really, really cool. And they interviewed me, TC, and Rod Swenson, who very rarely gives any interviews. And I think it's going to be really good, really get a perspective. You know, it's supposed to focus on Wendy and her role at the Plasmatics and how she came up and led the band. And it should be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And I know a lot of the fans that I've mentioned it to, they are too. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on the phones, and me and Tracy. And yeah, I can't wait to work with you again. And we're going to do a tune, actually, I picked from 1982 from the Coup d'etat album. Going to do Mistress of Taboo. What do you think?